Okay, welcome back, guys. Happy Monday. Let's dive right in. Um, let's first check the Bitcoin price, which is 96,800-ish at this time. Today is December 9th, 2024. So, like I've said before, always look out for any pullback. Um, I've already mentioned previously that breaking the 100,000 mark was a huge milestone, but maintaining above that level is going to be a challenge, and that's exactly what we're seeing right now. In terms of technical analysis, however, as you can see, the price still remains above this yellow trend line that I drew from before, and we'll see if it breaks down below this yellow line. Otherwise, it's possible that we'll see prices back in the $80,000 range. If not, then we'll continue to tread along this yellow trend line. And if we don't break out from this trend line, then we're still going to be hovering around this level until the end of this year. So just something to keep in mind. Don't be surprised if that is the case. If anything, it may be a good opportunity to accumulate even further. Dollar cost average as usual. Otherwise, of course, invest at your own discretion. So if you choose to wait for a breakdown below the yellow trend line, then that could also be a good buying opportunity. What it exactly isn't, though, is a selling opportunity. And a lot of first-time buyers of Bitcoin who bought around the $100,000 level is probably fearing further breakdown and may choose to liquidate too early by selling. But of course, none of this is financial advice, but I'm not exactly sure if that would be a wise decision. As you can see with the MACD, initially I thought that the MACD line would cross the signal line, but it's continuing to break down towards the bottom. So it's possible that we'll see more red candles this week. Let's go over the Bitcoin dominance quickly as well. So as you can see, the Bitcoin dominance itself did bounce back up from the 55% range, now back to the 57% range. And I thought about this, why is the Bitcoin price going down, but the Bitcoin dominance is going up? And in my humble opinion, it is most likely due to the outflow of altcoins from the market, meaning either it's a price action, although even that would be a result of people exiting altcoins. So similar to Bitcoin, if you've been standing on the sidelines and you decided to buy altcoins now, and you all of a sudden saw this drop in price, then you might panic and sell. For example, if somebody bought at this $4,000 range and they were not expecting this sort of 8% drop, then they might fear, panic, and sell right away. So if there's a huge outflow of alternative assets, then naturally you'll see an increase in the fraction of Bitcoin in the market as a total. At the same time, if people are exiting Bitcoin as well, although relatively, the amount may be less, still you could see a price drop in Bitcoin as well. Again, I'm not a macroeconomics expert, but that would be my humble explanation as to why we're seeing these numbers and technical analysis. For today, I also want to touch base on vector space sciences that I talked about over the weekend. So as you can see, we went up to a high of around 80 cents. And today we had a pullback down to the resistance level of 62 cents. And we'll see if we maintain this level. It's possible that we might see further pullback. And, some of you might be asking, okay, well, the last video on vector sciences or vector space biosciences wasn't all that in depth. And the main reason I left it at that is because there's for example, if I'm doing an equity analysis, let's say on Apple, and I'm reading all the 10K packet and analyzing the market more thoroughly, then it would be a different issue. I mean, in terms of projects in the crypto space, my main approach is to look at the risk to reward ratio and technical analysis mainly, not whether I truly, truly believe in the project and the viability of it. And, some people might describe that as, left versus mid versus right curving. If I were to really analyze the project thoroughly, I would be mid curving in the crypto space. That's not my primary goal. I just think that in general, the project sounds interesting, but I'm more focused on what the reward could be from this low of 63 cents all the way to $17. So that's basically it, simply put. Finally, I did want to go over some meme coins with you. So if you haven't heard already, the meme coins are the craze of this cycle, similar to NFTs back in 2020, 2021. And so I want to cover 3 projects that I'm mainly interested in. In terms of, again, analysis, I'll be mostly just looking at the technical analysis. In regards to what they actually mean or the utility aspect of it, the reality is they're literally called meme coins for a reason. I mean, if you find them funny, entertaining, or you think that there is some culture and basically a big group behind it supporting the coin, then that's really all you need to look at in terms of meme coins. Do I think you should be putting a large proportion of your portfolio into meme coins? Again, I cannot give you financial advice, but it would be very, very risky. So just keep that in mind. And, if you're putting in a large proportion of your portfolio into meme coins, you should also have a large risk appetite and be prepared to lose everything if that's what it comes down to. So, this is very, very risky. Just know that the reward to risk ratio is also very high, which makes sense because it is a risky asset. And a lot of people are very much interested in meme coins currently. So the first one that I really like is Popcat. I just think the meme is very cute and it's funny. And, obviously you have 115,000 holders. The market cap is over $1 billion USD at this time. Just looking at the technical analysis, I just drew this basic blue line. And another thing that you might have noticed is for all of my cryptocurrency charts, I always use a log scale. If you don't do log, it's fine, but sometimes it's hard to look at the big picture holistically if I'm just using a non-log scale. So, and a lot of it has to do with the exponential growth in the crypto space as opposed to the traditional equities market. And so I found it helpful to look at my chart in terms of log scale. So as you can see, it's been following this trend line pretty nicely. And, I don't know if it's going to break out from this or whether it will follow this blue trend line till the end of the bull cycle. I also do not have a price target. I will know when to exit my altcoins. And if, once I see the signal and the indication, then regardless of what the current price at the time is, I will be exiting um, my positions. So this is one. Another one is WIF, dogwifhat. So again, another one that is over $1 billion in market cap, 204,000 holders. Um, by the way, depending on the crypto coin, obviously their charts also differ. Just because they're under the same category doesn't mean that they're going to be showing the same trend. Although I will say a lot of the coins do share similar patterns, which is quite interesting. I think a lot of it has to do with, let's say an influencer announces a coin or a project and a lot of people buy into it. And, that could obviously vary season by season. And, you know, really this is all, a lot of it has to do with human psychology. So, um, if certain people are buying certain coins at the same time, depending on the market, they will show similar patterns. So, for example, and that was a very convoluted way of explaining, but simply put, it is very likely and possible that there will be another chart, another meme coin chart that looks similar to this WIF pattern over here that we see over here, where you have an initial exponential increase, you hit a local top, you see some plateau followed by some pullback, and then a slow trend upwards. And so this is a more of a local trend line that I drew. As you can see, we owe a little bit over here back down to the trend line. So I really wouldn't be surprised if this coming week, for example, we continue to see some downtrend back into the, you know, $2.50 mark. Of course, remember, if you're into technical analysis, it doesn't always have to follow this trend. Sometimes it could break down below, sometimes it could break up. Usually this is more helpful if if you've already decided, okay, I'm gonna put an X amount of dollars into this project and I'm trying to dollar cost average, then you could use this trend line, for example, as a reference to see how you want to approach your DCA strategy. So for example, maybe on a day like today, I'll put in, X% of the money that I intended to put in total, and then I'll save a little bit to see if we go back towards this trend line and so on and so forth. So at least that's how I use trend line to DCA. Again, purely meme play, um, dog with hat. To me, I do find it entertaining. I did invested, um, way back when it was, like under $1. So this is something I already 10x'd on. But, you know, I really would approach meme coins with caution. Just because somebody said so or somebody mentioned doesn't mean that you should buy it. And okay, so the video is getting a little lengthy, so let me just wrap up by just mentioning one more that I really like, and that is Turbo. So both WIF and Popcat are on the Solana chain. This is on the Ethereum chain. You can, of course, use Uniswap to trade, or you can also use your Coinbase wallet, which is also what I've seen. So, Turbo, again, I drew this trend line over here. As you can see, it's been following it pretty consistently. So, even on a day like today where we go down 10+%, I'm not really panicking because if you look at the big picture, you can see that it's simply just sitting on the trend line. Now, if it were to significantly break down from here, then of course I would have to manage my risk and determine, you know, how long I would want to hold on to this coin. Um, because then I'd have to know, okay, well, is this a failed project? Is everybody exiting, liquidating? And am I just going to be holding on to something that's going to eventually go down to zero? So you have to be able to make those decisions for yourself. And that's why you have to look at the charts every now and then, unless, you know, and I'm not part of these, but unless you're part of some sort of Discord group where, everybody's, um, I guess in a way, well, I don't want to say like manipulating, but sort of managing the markets and working as a group to move the markets. And I suppose that is acceptable in cryptocurrency. Um, Although, if you try to do that in the traditional equities market, of course, is more often than not, you'll get into trouble. Anyways, so today I just want to talk about Bitcoin. I want to talk about vector space biosciences once more. And then mainly I want to go over the three meme coins that I'm really, really interested in. And like I've said before, that is going to be Popcat, WIF, and Turbo. Okay. I hope you guys have a good rest of your day, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye bye.